Comparatively. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are things that Trump has done in this administration that I don't particularly agree with, like the Iran war. Granted, I agree with him drawing out the previous Iran deal, only because in the previous Iran deal, Russia was getting the enriched uranium from Iran, which I didn't agree with. So, I mean, that's reasonable. I mean, comparatively to real GDP growth, I mean, yes, I can agree, that obviously, for obvious reasons, I don't agree necessarily with the policies that he's had in regards to U.S. expansion and economic expansion. But you are comparing, the actual GDP expansion comparatively to if we go the current route that we're going, the U.S. isn't really adding on to its deficit. Of course, the better solution is to increase taxes in order to actually spend more, but that doesn't necessarily equate to the existing policies.
Okay, so Trump signed off on more debt-related spending. His administration policies will be causing more debt-related spending as well. He wants to increase the defense budget to $1.5 trillion a year, right? His big, beautiful bill adds $3.4 trillion to debt while disproportionately cutting taxes for the richest Americans, while cutting 10 million people off their access to health insurance through Medicaid, 2.5 million people off their access to food stamps on average every single month, and over 420,000 children off their access to free school lunch and breakfast on average every single month as well. So given all of those things, like, what specifically do you point to under Trump's administration that he's done good that makes you think that he's a good candidate?
Increased military spending. I mean, I served in the military. Military isn't paid a fraction of what they should be paid. I think anyone who has a logical sense can agree that the military isn't paid a fraction of what they should be paid.
Okay, but most of our money isn't going to salaries that is currently being spent on the military.
That.
So why would we need to increase our military budget to 1.5 trillion? And also Trump's increase to 1.5 trillion is not to increase salaries. It's to increase presence around the world, to increase development spending specifically for missiles and tanks and things that he's wasted, by the way, with this war with Iran, that, again, has put us in a worse position right now than we were 10 years ago under the JCPOA. JCPOA, you could say, isn't perfect, but it's better than what Trump's gotten so far, and he's giving them more money.
He's not really giving them more money. He's only giving them the money that we took from the back, realistically. We're actually breaking it all down.
J.D. Vance said if they do the right thing, they'll get upwards of $300 billion.
Yeah, we took $300 billion from them. Like, we actually seized that.
Okay, so this isn't sanctions. This is explicitly from the Gulf states for reparations.
Can you provide proof of that?
Yes, that's what J.D. Vance said.
Right, but I'm saying, can you provide proof other than J.D.
Of J.D. Vance saying this? Okay. Iran can get up to 300 billion. I got you. Here we are. Right here from the title is J.D. Vance says Iran could get access to 300 billion as part of Trump deal. That's the title.
Right, and comparatively that to the fact that we've seized 300 billion at the very least, it's not really us giving them money.
No, it's not seizing. Like, here, I'll give you another one that specifies it. The Hill. Vance, Iran could have access to 300 billion reconstruction fund.
This reconstruction fund for things that we've already destroyed, correct? And not necessarily 300 billion towards fixing their uranium sites.
Well, it's for reconstruction. It's not necessarily for rebuilding nuclear sites. But the concern that people had specifically with Obama's deal, giving Iran money, is that they use that money for proxies. What makes you think that they're not going to use this money for proxies, even though it's significantly more?
Well, I understand that. That's one of the benefiting reasons as to how ISIS came to be.
Say it again?
So that's one of the beneficial parts of how ISIS came into existence, because of the Iran deal under the Obama administration.
Okay, so, and you think that that's because of the Iran deal. When did ISIS become a group?
In 2011 and 2014. They were fully formed in 2014.
You said they were fully formed in 2014?
Yeah.
When was the Iran deal signed?
I believe that same year.
Nope, 2015. So the Iran deal led to the creation of ISIS, but the ISIS creation is prior to the Iran nuclear deal. Okay. That's interesting.
So ISIS didn't formally come out as an actual organization until sometime after they attacked us in Benghazi. Okay.
I'm not sure how this argument is making any sense here, because again, you just said that ISIS was created because of this, but they came into existence prior to the Iran nuclear deal. That just makes no sense. It seems like you just got caught in a lie.
Well, it's not being caught in a lie. It's being caught not having full information. Can't exactly say someone's getting caught in a lie if they're not.
Sorry, caught in like something where you're misled, right? Like, well, I mean, I consider it a lie. It's like it's not you like purposefully trying to do it, but it is something that's false that you're intentionally saying, although you don't know it's false.
So, I think we can agree that in regards to, because you're saying certain things about, I'm not changing the topic. I'm trying to look it up, but to keep some debate going, what exactly are you saying is the benefit of Kamala Harris? Like truly the benefit.
Kamala, the benefit would be that we wouldn't be at war with Iran. The benefit would be that we wouldn't have imposed tariffs, right? And we would have significantly better indicators in terms of the economy. What would be better off is that we wouldn't have had a president who called for the execution of members of the legislature because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders. We wouldn't have had a president that pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers on January 6th and then called them patriots. Gas prices would be a lot lower. We'd have someone who believes in science from the Oval Office who wouldn't have cut USAID funding, which would have saved 14 million lives according to a Lancet study by 2030. And then we would have gotten historic legislation passed relating to expanding access to health care, a child tax credit, and middle class tax cuts. So that would have been great.
So you're saying him calling for the death of specific congressional officers. Per the UCMJ, right?
Yes.
Any order that is given to the military by the president is deemed as lawful so long as it doesn't violate the Constitution. So they were citing that any order that he gives them was unlawful.
That's not what they were saying. That's wrong. You just lied. This is a lie.
That's not lying.
They explicitly said, no, I'll tell you what they said. Don't do this. They said, if you're given an unlawful order, then don't follow it. They never said all orders he's giving are unlawful. They said, if you're given one that's unlawful, given that you've acknowledged that there are unlawful orders and that it would make sense to not follow those unlawful orders, that's all they said in that scenario. Okay. What did they say that was seditious behavior? What did they say that was treason?
So you do have to realize that some people might misconstrue, similarly to how you're saying that right now I'm misconstruing the information. Anyone could easily misconstrue that information if they're not fully aware. I think that's easily agreeable, correct?
Sure. This seems to be like blatantly you trying to mislead us.
I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm asking you to kind of confer, and I'm trying to confer with your understanding.
Yeah, so like
I'm not trying to misconstrue.
Let me just be clear. In the video, they said if you're given an unlawful order, you shouldn't follow it. They never said all orders that Trump's given are unlawful. What do you think they said?
Right. So the question, though, right, would be how do you deem a lawful order versus unlawful order? And the reason I'm asking this is when I served in the military, I was ordered to carry a TV up my back up 5 flights of stairs. That put my health in jeopardy and actually put my health in danger, which led to me getting several back injuries from that incident, which was deemed as unlawful, but I was told that it was a lawful order. So how can you construe what's lawful and what's not unlawful if you're being threatened by your superior order? By your superiors.
And again, I would agree that's bad. Officers. But the point that I'm making is that if it's deemed to be an unlawful order, that you should not follow it. Right? If it's unconstitutional, you should not follow it. Like, for example, Mike Pence was ordered on January 6th to certify false slates of electors, right? And he said it was unlawful and that he puts his constitution, his country, over Trump every time. That's what he said. That's the exact same thing that those members of the legislature said. If not, right, the members of the legislature are saying it less applicable to a specific scenario, and Mike Pence was saying it was applicable to this scenario. So he was giving a specific scenario where an unlawful order was applicable and that he didn't follow the unlawful order. Whereas specifically, all the members of the legislature were doing was saying, if you're given an unlawful order, don't follow it. They could have specified that there have been unlawful orders given in the past, such as the one given to Mike Pence, such as the one Mike Pence acknowledged. And by the way, what I think that people don't realize is that when Donald Trump is engaging in sarcastic Therefore, like he's reposting someone saying HANG them George Washington Wood in reference to these Democratic members of the legislature. That is then trying to normalize the arguments that people were making on January 6th to HANG Mike Pence. Literally, it's the exact same thing. There's no difference, except for the fact that Mike Pence is more specific.
Well, so hey, don't take it the wrong way. No one likes Mike Pence, especially from Indiana, from the standing point, because he kind of destroyed Indiana's infrastructure. He destroyed Indiana's.
Wait, all of these are irrelevant.
No,
I don't like
I
Mike Pence
that.
as a person either, but I can admit in this context that he was principled in his views. You think I'm a fan of Mike Pence? No, I'm not a fan of Mike Pence. I'm just acknowledging that even he wasn't accepted in the MAGA movement because he cared more about the Constitution than Trump.
Right, but a lot of that stemmed from people from Indiana, from my understanding.
What?
Okay, I'm saying a lot of the geared hatred for him stemmed from Indiana. Okay, so like
no, it was on January
refusal.
6th where they started calling for his outside of the Capitol. Like, do you not remember that?
No.
Yeah, on January 6th, they were outside calling for his. They were saying HANG Mike Pence because they wanted him to certify the false slates of electors, and they were calling him a traitor because he wasn't. So, like, again, Mike Pence's scenario here was more specific. So, do you think it was justified for those people to call for the execution of Mike Pence?
I don't think anyone should be. I mean, if we're talking about like actual criminals in prison, which is an entirely different topic, I don't think anyone should be just because they don't agree with the results of an election.
So like, how can you be okay with supporting a guy that threatens that even threatens to execute? Like, that shouldn't even be allowed in our politics, is to even threaten to execute people. I promise you, if a Democrat did this, there would be a lot bigger of an issue that people would have with it.
Right, and political prosecution here is the same. I'm just asking. I'm not saying, but you have the Democrat Party that expressed that they wanted to do everything they could to send Trump to prison before he could even run. Not that I'm saying that was wrong. I mean, there are obvious reasons that he should have been prosecuted. I genuinely agree with the fact that some of the things that he went to court over that he was found convicted of. I'm not denying that. I don't deny that he's got 34 felonies. I mean, a lot of the things that I've seen, I have complete disregard of, but other things I don't. Like the fact that he's been on podcasts where he's admitted that he's gone into rooms full of naked women just to spectate as the owner of that pageant or whatever. That I don't agree with under any circumstances.
So then why can't you say you don't want to vote for him anymore? You're done supporting this guy. Why can't you do that?
Because I'm not done supporting him. I mean, there are things
you should be. You should be. Realistically, you should be able to say this guy has violated my core principles. He is a horrible person. He has horrible character. Doesn't have good policies. Right? There's nothing redeemable. There's literally nothing redeemable about this guy. Like, what do you think is good about him?
So are you trying to say that people can't be redeemed later on in life?
Absolutely, there are people that can't be redeemed. Would you argue that Hitler could be redeemed?
Hitler's dead.
Like, if Hitler was alive, do you think he could be redeemed? Oof. I think the obvious answer is no.
Say that he could, but also couldn't be. I mean, look.
That's a contradiction.
I know, and I'm going to get to why I'm saying that.
That's like saying there's a shape that has three sides or three corners and zero corners at the same time.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, that's like saying there's a shape that has three corners and zero corners at the same time.
I'm not fully understanding the elaboration, but
yeah, if you say that contradictions can be true, you're like saying a squared circle can exist. A shape can have three corners and zero corners at the same time, the same shape. That makes no sense, right? The value of corners couldn't be 3 and 0 simultaneously for the same shape. That's incoherent. You can't even conceive of that in your head because it's logically contradictory. So if you say it could and he couldn't at the same time, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, you're asking, right, my opinion of whether Hitler changed if he were still alive. So we have to acknowledge that some of the things that Hitler did, while 99% were horrible, horrendous, heinous things, some things he did that has implemented the world, right? I mean, Hitler was a humanitarian in regards to like animals, and because of Hitler's view towards animals and animal safety and animal protection, that has now stemmed into the U.S. across the world.
You did not just credit Hitler for vegetarianism being prevalent. That's like the most nuts thing I've ever heard.
Well, prior
What the
to
f are you talking about? What do
vegetarianism,
you mean, bro? Are you trolling?
no, look it up.
Okay, I'm sorry. You understand that that's like a nonsense notion of like, oh, we're treating animals good because he treats animals with more dignity than he would treat Jewish people in the. Okay, so do you
I,
see how that would actually
I'm not
conflict with?
saying that the Holocaust was in any way, shape, or form good. I have a complete strong disdain towards anything related to that.
Okay, so then why, in response to me saying, do you think he is someone that could be redeemed, do you say, oh, I credit the existence of vegetarianism in the West to Hitler? Like, what? Like, don't vegetarians and vegans don't want to be associated with that. Hello?
I'm still here. I'm just still trying to. My internet has been the past couple of days. So we've gotten a lot of tornadoes here in Indiana the past couple of days.
I'm sorry to hear that. Those are tough.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
Half of my town got hit pretty badly to where there's damage all over, but somehow my house and street is fine, and my neighbor isn't, which hurts.
Yeah, that's really horrible. I grew up in the Midwest, and I know what it's like to little drive-through communities completely devastated by tornadoes. So that's not a okay thing. If you need someone to talk to, I definitely recommend talking to a professional. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to or add before I go on to the next person?
If I want to talk about more, I'll request to come back in. But at this time, I'm trying to research some of the things that you're referring to.
Okay, for sure. Appreciate you coming up.